Just waiting for some people to show up, then I'm going to do some live sourcing. Thanks for joining me, Savvy Coder. Always love seeing your comments on the videos. All right, well, let's just jump in. Why not? Present my screen quick. Going to, thank you. I'm going to be just reverse sourcing some storefronts on some beauty products. We're going to start with Rare Beauty. I know Rare Beauty is basically, they're a brand that sells pretty quickly. Thanks, Nina. Appreciate it. Yeah, Rare Beauty sells really well. I've sold some of their products in the past. I will just be reverse sourcing off of them. So looking at their storefront, or looking at some of these products and then, storefront stocking some of those products. This one, probably not the best one to look at. It looks like it's dropped its price in the past, but we can go and look at some of the storefronts that are currently selling this product. Looking for, when you're storefront stocking, really want to look for products that, or look for storefronts that don't have a crazy amount of reviews. Someone with 5,000 reviews probably has some wholesale products in their catalog. So we may, or private label even. So don't really care to look at their storefronts, but someone who would resemble like an OA seller, right? I have, anywhere, I think I have over 50 reviews or something like that. So anywhere between, 10, if you get someone who has no reviews, then, we're just looking at someone who probably doesn't have a ton of products in their storefront. So you're going to waste some time clicking between multiple storefronts. Hopefully we can find somebody who has a decent amount of reviews, less than a couple hundred, maybe up to 500. And then they should have a good amount of OA products to look at. So like this one, 11, that's a good starter. 4,500, a little too high. 5,800, a little too high. 5 might be another good start. We'll look at this one for now. Okay, so one thing we can do is we can sort by the brands if we wanted to. Sometimes I like to do that. Doesn't look like this person has a ton in their storefront. They do have some Rare Beauty. Says they only have one. They definitely have a couple, but since they don't have a ton of products, we're just going to look. Right at each product here. Probably won't take super long to get through them. Great advice. Yeah. Yep. This is how I get through products as quick as possible. When you're storefront stocking, especially, you want to find, give yourself the best chance of finding a good storefront. And then you also want to make sure that you're getting through these products quickly on their storefront. So these two products here, again, I'm going to skip because I know Rare Beauty has been dropping their prices lately on Amazon. There's a ton of people on these listings. So, trying to avoid them. A Bath and Body Works product, we can look at that. The price looks pretty steady. That max cost is really low though. I guess $10.90. We can see, if we do like a small and light, maybe we can get that max cost up a little bit. Let me just quick search what price it's even listed on Bath and Body Works. So if they even have it, again, this might be one that's going to be hard to find. Yeah, so probably something we can skip over. Doesn't look like it's even on Bath and Body Works anymore. Maybe it's a discontinued product. But Joe G, thanks for joining, man. Good to see you. Let's get that bread. That's the goal. That's the goal. We're in reverse sourcing today, doing some storefront stocking here. This product is interesting. Health and household, always a good category to search for. We're looking at a $17 buy box price shot all the way up to like 22. I'm curious if the offer count fell off a cliff, or there's hardly anybody on the listing. Um, yeah, smash the like button, just like Joji said. I appreciate that. Hopefully get some good viewers on this. Just doing some reverse sourcing, storefront stocking, showing you my process to get through as many products as possible. That's kind of the goal here. We're going to use this little bit of data that we have to determine whether it's even worth looking into. If it's not, then obviously we can skip through these products pretty quickly, get through a bunch of storefronts. But what we don't want to do is just get stuck on some of the data and then look into products that aren't really worth looking into. So this product here, I'm just curious why it shot up in price in April. But our max cost on this is $5.99 for a 2-pack of some sort of capsule. Weight loss capsule might be tricky to find. We can just jump to Google right away just to see if that's even reasonable to try to hit. Let's see, Walmart looks like $16.99 in stock. That might be for one of them, or a 2-pack, I guess. Otherwise, not seeing this other places. 17 for a 2-pack, and we need to get it for $6. Stuff like that. You can do a little bit. You can just do something small research like that to know not to look into something like this. Again, it says the buy box is at $16.99. This seller, this is just the storefront price, so don't look at this price, but looks like maybe they got the buy box a little bit. Again, even if the buy box goes to $21, this max cost is only going to jump up to $7 or $8, which is still not even close to the 17 that it looks like we can find it for. So we will keep looking at some other products here. Christmas thing, probably not. And Amazon's on it all the time. Not sure what made them want to get this product, but it is pretty cheap to be able to. Discord's going crazy. Let's look at the chat for a second. Flipping with Cisco, good to see you. How's it going? Joji and Cisco, good to have in the chat here. All right, so this Vitacost product, it looks like it's an actual Vitacost brand. Max cost, just under 15 bucks. Price looks pretty steady over the last month or 2 months, but recently it's kind of dropped in price. I wonder if the offer count has gone up. We're sitting at 29 offers, 67K rank, and health and household's great. Buy box is $30. This person has it listed at 34, which looks like kind of the price that it was at in the past. We'll just look into it just to see. Maybe I know Vitacost was running a 15% off sale, so wouldn't be the worst to check into that. We got 117 sales a month, pretty solid. Again, that max cost at $14.76. Price looks pretty consistent, but we are down to 30, and there's a little bit of incline in sellers. And we can kind of see in the past here. So what I like to do is look at, what did the offer count do in the past? Did we see any certain levels, and what was the price at? And then are we reaching those levels again? What is the price at now? It should be somewhat of a resemblance, but it doesn't have to follow the exact. But what we can see is basically we're at like 38 sellers here. Price is down at 31. Sellers fall off a little bit. We see it go up to 34, 33 something. The offer counts back up to, mid 30s. And then that price starts to go down again. So we can kind of see once we get above that 30 range, the price, kind of levels out right around 30, 31. So we should expect that, if the offer count stays where it's at, or even if it goes up a little bit, we could probably sell it right around that $30, $31 range, which is the hope. Let's see here. You and AC have the best backgrounds to stare at. Our soothing. Yeah, this is just our wall. We put some boards up and painted it in a nice green color. So it's just the office, but it does make for a good background for YouTube videos and whatnot. So good to see. Good to see. All right, let's take a look at this product in Google. Okay, so one thing we want to make sure with vitamins, always look at the capsule size or how many are in this bottle. Always look at the dosage. A lot of times there's 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C or 500. Just want to make sure that you have the right dosage as well. Sometimes the package you have to do some digging for it. It looks like we'll be able to. We got 100 milligrams per serving. That's what we want to look for. 240 capsules. Root 2 biocell collagen. Okay, so we'll look for 240. This is the price we want, but if there's a direct match right next to it, both on VitaCost, this one's probably has the right amount of capsules that we need, so might be a little high in price. Okay, so there's a variation here. We get the 240, it's probably going to be pretty expensive. Okay, $29.99. Yep, we wanted it for 14, so it's basically selling what VitaCost is listing it for. Probably not going to be profitable there. I'm assuming since it's the VitaCost brand, we're not going to be able to find it anywhere but VitaCost, which is fine, but we just want to make sure that we check everything out. Probably the only place we're going to find this is VitaCost if it's in the title. So again, if we can only find it for 29, any discount, we basically have to get this for 50% off. So probably going to be hard to achieve. So we are going to move on to the next one. Selling some Nike here. I'm going to avoid any clothing, I think. I'm just going to focus on either health and household or beauty, just to switch it up a little bit. Another VitaCost brand. Again, the price is dropping a little bit as of recently. Kind of looks like a similar scenario. Let's just quick Google, see if we can find for $9. What was the size on this? So we got 10 to 20. 200 capsules. Again, if there's very similar ones listed, this one is 10 to 20, a little bit more expensive than this one. So I'm assuming this one is, or even either of these are probably a smaller size. So if I click on them, obviously in that split decision, I would have already decided I can't find it cheap enough. If we need it for $9. Knowing that this one's probably cheaper than this one because it's a smaller capsule size or count, it's probably, we need 200 capsules. One of them's probably 100, the other one's 200. So the more expensive one, there we go, 200 and 100, exactly what I said. So obviously the 200 one's $20. Again, we would need to get 50% off just to get it more than 50% off to get it close to what the max cost is. So instead of going into the product, looking at all these things, right? You're going into Amazon, then you're looking at the Keep a chart, you're looking at Seller Amp, all the data here. Basically, I can look at this and say, the little Keep a chart I can see here, prices dropped recently. So the buy box, $21, could go lower. We don't really know, but it doesn't matter. We want to see, can we even find this for anywhere close to $9? If we can't, so then my next thought process is, right, the rank is good, offers could be good. We don't really know unless we look at more data. But if 930 is not even close to achievable, why even look into this product if we don't think that we can get close to that? So again, instead of going into Amazon, looking at all the things, I saw this. I'm like, okay, let's go to Google. Boom. $13.99 is probably the 100 capsule. $19.99 is the higher one, probably the 200 capsule that we need. Sure enough, 200 capsules, $20. We can't get it cheap enough. So on to the next one. And in real time, I would get through that in less than 15, 20 seconds. Here, it took me 3 minutes to explain it, but that's kind of my thought process on how quickly I can get through all of these products. Clayton asked, do you recommend using AI repricing or setting up a custom rule set for FBM? For FBM, I have been using a custom rule set. Basically, it's kind of matching the lowest price. It's matching the buy box of the FBA sellers, but again, it's tailored towards more like the lower price, getting that sale ahead of some higher price FBA sellers, because a lot of times you'll see on listings that merchant fulfilled sellers are listed lower than FBA sellers. So I think I might have made a video on my channel about my FBM repricer, so you can check that out for sure. But I think AI is geared towards more the AI, especially for Be Cool, is more geared towards like finding the buy box and the matching with FBA. So um, I think it's okay to use that. Talking to some people, but again, I have my custom one for FBM that I think is really specifically tailored towards FBM and competing against other FBA sellers. And I used it a lot during Q4 last year, and that seemed to have worked really well. So check out my last video or one of my last videos on repricing. I think I go through that whole setup for my merchant fulfilled. So um, FBA listing set with AI, but wasn't sure about FBM. Yeah. I think either will work, but again, I have one that's fairly custom to merchant fulfilled specifically, and I think it's done really well for me in the past. So that's what I would stick to. All right, we are looking at. Let's see. This product is a little goofy how it dropped in price, but it was like low for a while. This could be like the brand was on it at a low price. 687 max cost. We're looking for some tea bags, it looks like. Some bottle. I'm not sure what that is, but let's just look into it. Why not? Okay, 30 pack of tea bags, basically. And then it also has 90 milliliters of this droplets. I'm going to avoid that. It's just for me, I'm not a huge fan of these like bundle listings. Not this one specifically. Like if you have to bundle like a shampoo and conditioner, sure, but like stuff that's random like this, not as big of a fan. Um, and again, 680.86 for 30 pack of tea and then a bottle droplet, probably going to be hard to find in my eyes, so I'll skip that. This one, we're looking at a price, another Vitacost brand. This person must have had maybe there was a good deal recently on Vitacost where their own brand was probably 20 or 30% off. I think I remember seeing something like that. So as long as the charts show you that you can sell this Vitacost brand without running into either them being on the listing a bunch or, any IP. I don't think they do IP complaints or anything, but basically this thing has been selling kind of right around that 25. Doesn't go too much below 24 and not too much above 26. So $25 buy box currently. $12 is the cost. So we can look into this one a little bit. AC, what's your favorite go-to fast food spot? I'm pretty big on Chick-fil-A. That's probably my go-to. Chipotle is good too, but I don't, pretty typical, but I don't go there very often. There's not one super close by, but there is a Chick-fil-A not too far. So that's the go-to. The Vitacost, this one here, like I said, $12 might be a little tricky. Cisco, what's your favorite go-to? And everybody else, people watching, what's your favorite go-to fast food? Maybe I need some new ideas. I don't eat fast food a ton, but something about the Chick-fil-A spicy chicken sandwich, just gotta have it every once in a while. On a Sunday, guess I don't eat fast food on Sundays too often. All right, let's look at this product here. 5 Loxin Boswellia something 150 milligram, 120 capsules. Let's see here. If this is a match, 120 capsules, that's good. As long as this is energy support, not quite the same. Eric, how's it going? SB Fuller Flips. Thanks for joining me, man. Just doing some reverse sourcing, storefront stocking. Just trying to throw some information at you guys. This one's not the same product. I was going to say the price looks good, capsules are good, but not the same product. We're looking. I think this one is the correct one, but we're at $21. Again, to get it down to $12 is going to be really hard. So why spend a bunch of time on this if you don't think you're going to actually be able to achieve, that price? So we are moving on. Again, $4 for any kind of vitamin seems tough to me. It looks like this thing was pretty profitable back in the day, and then it just completely tanked. A bunch of people must have got on it. So again, we're avoiding that. This storefront not giving me great vibes. Looks like we went through everything already. So honestly, let's just go on to the next storefront here because we spent probably too much time on that one. Once you see a couple of bad products in a row, unless you're want to search through everything. If they got all Vitacost stuff, they probably got that on a sale. And again, that's like was their whole storefront basically. So the fact that that's all they have means maybe they just don't have a ton of products in stock, or they're a pretty new seller. So you might want to avoid those kinds of storefronts. But I would like to find one with like 100 reviews. Someone who doesn't really give off the vibes of like a wholesale private label store, but also maybe has a good amount of experience OA seller. How many times have you been sourcing and found something like you liked for yourself? Happens to me way too often. Yeah. I try not to like make too many dumb buying decisions, split decision stuff, but I definitely come across because I do a lot of like clothing or sporting goods and stuff. I'm like, oh, that would be fun. That would be nice to have. But um, I mean, if something gets returned through, like I don't have my Stanley with me, but like I sold a Stanley, had a scratch on it. Uh, I just use it myself now. So could go that route if you get some returns. Don't want to send it back, can't sell it new. Hey, why not wear it yourself or use it yourself? Okay, let's take a look at some other storefronts here. 12, a little too low, 6, too low, 33, that's not bad. 6, again, too low. 1700 too high for me. 33, good spot there. 194 RFL distribution kind of sounds like a wholesale account, but only 194 reviews only. That's a good amount. But again, they sell a lot of Nike, Converse, shoes, stuff like that. We're going to avoid, again, the Nike, Converse, Hoka. We're just going to look at their beauty products, and then, maybe the health and household section as well. So we're skipping the rare beauty. We know what that's about. The Strunk Elephant product. This is an interesting one. I think I looked at this. I might have looked at this my last week sourcing when that Sephora cold sale was going on. Okay, if this happens here, basically just zoom in right before it because it's something happened. There's a glitch where it's listed at like 290,000. Nobody sold it on that price, obviously, but it screws up the chart. So just zoom in front of it, and it'll bring the chart back. So this product here, basically, we could probably sell it for like that higher price, FBA 5150. You can see the guy at the storefront we're stocking right now has gotten the buy box recently. But again, the offer count was pretty high for a while. The price, at one point when the offer count was low, we were getting this for like 65 bucks we could sell it for. Now, again, we're down to 51, but I think the Sephora Kohl's sale had it. If we get this for 51, I'm not sure this was the price I was looking at before, but again, they had some 20% off sale. Probably could have found it a little bit cheaper, and maybe this was a solid buy for some people. But right now, again, I think this is going to be really hard to find so 38 bucks Ulta. Yeah, if you use a gift card or some other discounts, maybe you have some points with Ulta, that wouldn't be the worst to apply. If you can get this down to, 29 bucks, which is not even $10 off, kind of a stretch, right? Maybe you get a 5% gift card and you got some rewards points that might get you the rest of the way. $9 profit, good amount of margin to work with. 32% looks decent as long as we don't think, this thing could tank. Again, the offers are pretty leveled out, kind of on a slow decline. We can go back further and see the last time, okay, now we got to zoom in. The last time we went super high on the sellers, it basically bottomed out. There were some FBM sellers for whatever reason going all the way down to 36. Went from 60 right to 36. That's really unfortunate for a lot of people on that listing, but then people were still getting the buy box at like 50. So semi close to what we're expecting right now. We're looking at, like I said, 51.50. So that's kind of the price I would expect to sell it at. I mean, it dropped way down to 38. That quiver must be getting it really cheap somehow, wholesale maybe, and they're able to list it at 38, but they go out of stock quick apparently, and then all the FBA sellers get the buy box back. So 51.50 is what we'd expect to sell it at. Again, you got to get it for like 29 to be within reasonable profit and margin. So we're going to skip that. Let's see. Look at this chat here. We have, how much do you look in profit per unit and ROI for clothing and shoes that are above 50K rank 90-day average? That's a good question. I am normally, clothing wise, clothing does sell in different times of the year. It sells a little bit better than others, but I am okay going with something up towards like 150K rank on clothing, but it has to be, a lot of margin, right? We don't want a bunch of sellers to just look at, because there's a lot of, newer sellers sometimes, or just sellers in general, who see a high profit number and they go in and buy a bunch. And a lot of people get the same idea and they hop on the listing, and then all of a sudden, it's it's a kind of a supply and demand thing, right? Like if we think the listing at 150K is going to sell 100 times a month and there's only 5 sellers on it, and then there's only 3 of them priced competitively, right? For example, so we buy a test buy at 10 and we think we can sell all 10 in a month, maybe sooner. um, you kind of you get that test buy in. But if you get a lot of people on that listing and it only is expected to sell at 100K or 100 times per month based on that rank, and you get 50 sellers on it because they all saw this nice profit number and they had the same idea as you, um, the price is going to go down. I mean, people aren't going to be able to sell completely at that price, right? People get impatient, they start to lower their price thinking that's going to trigger the buy box for them, and then the price goes down. So if you are buying stuff at that higher rank, you want to make sure that you do have some margin built in. Again, like 40-50% ROI is probably what I'd feel comfortable going with. Um, at those high ranks, right? You got a little, you can go a little bit better if it's selling quick enough. On the lower, 70, 80K rank, that stuff sells a little bit quicker. But again, it's kind of situational. How many people are on the listing? Has the price, dropped in the past? Do we think the price is going to hit that if more sellers jump on the listing? How easy did you find it? That's another question. Were you able to find this on the Nike homepage? Was there a big sale going on? It was an easy one to find, or did you have to do some digging, use some gift cards, use some discounts, whatever it was, to get that product? And if that's the second one's the answer, then you might be able to expect it to not drop as much, but you do want to have some margin built in, because that's only going to help you in the future. And it's going to help you, sell out of your 10 without the price tanking. And then you can decide if you can afford to buy more, or just, you sold your 10 and you got out. Let's see, gave us a return Stanley as a gift. They will never know. Hey, everybody wants Stanleys. And if there's, I've gotten Stanleys returned for like a tiny little dent on the bottom where you wouldn't even notice it, right? It still sits flat. It doesn't even teeter. And it gets returned, and it's like, somebody else going to do the same thing. So totally fine. I probably would have done the same. You ever use Smart Scout to find good storefronts? I have not used Smart Scout. I've heard of some people use it, but haven't really. I don't do a ton of storefront stalking. Maybe like once or twice a week, I'll try to do it just to get some ideas of different brands that people are listing and people are selling on. I do a little more manual sourcing, but don't use Smart Scout. And then Cisco also says when that happens, it's normally drop shippers. Yeah, it could be drop shippers at that range. Again, it's kind of situational. You got to just look at the past data. Anything tell you what could happen to the future data, and then just understand that it's not going to sell as quickly. So people get impatient all the time, and the price starts to drop. So you just want to have enough margin built in, right? Like for this one, for example, let's say this one was a slow mover. And we 32% ROI doesn't give us a ton, because if this thing goes down, people get impatient and it goes all the way down to 47, only a couple dollars. Now we're like at an 18% ROI. You get 1 or 2 returns, and all of a sudden your $5 profit on 10 of them is taken up by 1 return. That $29 you lose out on it, especially if it's used. So if we're going for 5150, we would want this closer to like 27, 26. And then that gives us 47%. Again, now we go down to 47. We're still at a 30%. So that's kind of that's a nice spot to be in. You can afford some tanking or some price drop, and then not lose out on a ton of your profits. Because I have definitely bought products in the past thinking they were going to stay, and a bunch of people had the same idea, and then all of a sudden, this goes all the way down to like 40. And by the time it sells, now it's like $2.50 profit. I get 1 return, and I'm like, there goes all my profits. So I definitely learned from those mistakes, but the chart will tell you everything you want to know. So Unwind Travels, are you going to switch to Scout X and dump Seller Amp since it is free now for having Inventory Lab? Didn't know that it was free. That's interesting. I mean, it's something I'd have to look into it to see if if I enjoy using it or if it's easy for me. Like with Seller Amp, I have all my Google or oh yeah for sourcing. I mean, I have my methods with Seller Amp. The Google Sheet feature is super nice, so I like using that a lot. Um, Again, everything I know the software really well, so it's real easy to work with. It's kind of hard to get away from things that you just know and you're good at. But I'd be into just willing to just look. Maybe I'll look at it sometime and see if it's worth doing. Didn't know that it was free though, so that's pretty nice. Anyway, this product. Let's go on to the next one. Skipping the Nike Tula. That's a big price tank there. Must have been on sale. Pretty easy to see ones that had a sale. Let's just for the fun of it, let's look at the Amazon chart. I wonder how many, before I scroll down, how many sellers do we think jumped on this listing? Had to be 50 plus, I bet you. If the chart looked like that. So let's go down and take a look. All right, I was wrong. It was basically around like 15 and we went all the way up to 140. Oh my. Okay. I mean, the price hasn't tanked too much. The chart made it look way worse. I mean, there's still people getting the buy box at like 44, and before it was like 54. So I guess a $10 drop is quite a bit. That's enough to make someone, not profitable going from 50 to 40. But yeah, over 100 sellers on this listing. Pretty hard to that one. See, stuff like that. This is to the moon of sellers. True that. So stuff like this, you really, before you even buy it, right? You get burned by this a couple times, whether it's a Nike sale or it's like the Kohl's Sephora sale. Certain items that were just so easy to find, this stuff's going to happen every time. It's just everybody's looking for that, right? They see, they got the 20% off, and when this was 54, they were probably finding it for like 27 bucks, and everyone's like, "Oh man, 48, almost 50% ROI. I'm going to buy 20 of these because I could make a ton of money." It sells 2,000 times a month, but it was on Sephora's homepage, the third product, right? It was the easiest one to find, and everybody's going to find that. Now, if you found this on the 18th page of the sales section, maybe it was a little bit harder to find. You had to do some digging. You had to add some discounts on top of it or Sephora points to get this $27. Then you got a little less chance of tanking. But this is very textbook. The sale hit probably like right here. And I mean, we already see price down, in the mid 40s. And then it's, all the way down to basically sitting at $40 now. So that's tough. I hope a lot of these people didn't go super deep on it, but just a little bit of something you can kind of hopefully predict before getting in on something like this, and then losing out on a bunch, right? Like I said, if this is at 40 bucks, all those people buying at 27 are now making $1. And again, there's so much more supply on something like this. Yeah, it sells quick, but so many people on the listing now. So like, how quickly are you actually going to sell? The supply is so much higher. Everybody's matching the buy box price. You can probably see the top 30 people are all identically in line with updated hours. So I can't even track how many offers because so many came on recently. But yeah, there's probably 30 to 40 offer people, on the listing of or match the buy box price. So to get the buy box share, you're going to get it less often because there's so much supply and the demand didn't change or anything, right? It's still sitting right around 4,000 like it has been. So it's going to sell slower, just the way it is. But we'll keep moving. Skipping Rare Beauty. Glossier looks pretty flat right around that 25. We got to get this for 1337. 15K rank. Quite a few sellers on there, but maybe that's the norm, right? Can't just look at the sellers either and say this is not a good product, because to maintain a certain rank, right, maybe you have to have a certain amount of sellers on the listing for them to keep selling to maintain, a 15K rank in beauty. So we are looking at just the color brown, Glossier Boy Brow. We're going to look at the chart. So there was a bunch of sellers on it at one point, up to 100, all the way down to 33, back up to like 63, but it's kind of leveled out as of in the last like 3-4 days. But what we noticed that at the max, basically this lowest price we'll see is 23 bucks. We're currently sitting at 26. So unless a ton of sellers jump on the listing, I don't think we would really see that $22, $23 price. Um, but again, it didn't, we're up from the bottom of amount of sellers. So 29.98 is not super realistic either. So I think we would probably sell right around the mean here, which is that $25. 23.99 is probably one of the low spots here. Current buy box is 26, 25.99. So I'll just go 25 in the middle here, and let's see if we can actually find this for 12 bucks. So it's at Sephora. If we did the 20% off, we might have been able to 0.8, 1360. And then if you had any rewards with Sephora, you might have been able to get this for a little bit cheaper, right? 1360. And let's say you had $1 off each. So you could get it for 1260, then it'd be borderline profitable. Maybe you can sell for 26 and make a little bit more. Or maybe it would sell, like I said, that bottom was like 23. Still making $2 profit at 23, which is the worst case scenario. So not the worst product, if you were able to get it during that sale. Again, Glossier, maybe they run discounts too every once in a while where you can get it a little bit lower than 17. But again, 20% off seems like a pretty reasonable sale. And we weren't really able to, and we were still like at 13 something. So you got to do more than 20%, which is quite a bit. But we'll look at a couple more products here. Let's see, it's 8:15. Yeah, we'll go through a couple more products and hopefully we can find something here. Another product that tanked. Yeah, this storefront's had some trouble with tanking. Very unfortunate. They probably are getting burned by a lot of stuff here. But let's see. Glam Glow looks like a big tank. Also was at 40 at one point. Now it's down to 25. Yeah, stuff like that. 122 offers. Yeah, so that's a huge bummer. This product here, even bigger bummer, right? We're looking at like 19 bucks. They were probably buying it for $6, $7, making a few dollars profit. Listing tanks, Amazon hops on it. Huge bummer there. So this storefront, based on all this, right? Do I really want to keep scrolling? They're just finding all these tanked products. For me, I would say, let's go to another storefront, because like everything they find here, maybe they're good at finding the fast sellers or the popular products, the trending ones, but man, they're really finding stuff that is all tanking. A lot of their stuff was at one price higher and now it's lower. Current buy box lower. So not a good sign. You see that early on in a storefront, definitely move on to the next one. There's a ton of, like, look at all these storefronts, and I'm not even looking at all of them. Definitely can find some better ones out there. You just don't want to spend too much time looking at all these bad products, because you're just not going to be able to, you're not going to have any luck. So I'm just going to find one more storefront that I like. And then we will, we'll end the stream. So 277 is decent, but I actually think I like that 48 better. So we're just going to look at that one. A lot of good reviews, 48. And then, yeah, we're just going to take a look at a couple products here. Ideally, they aren't tanked. Looks like they sell a good amount of beauty in health and household. So that is what we're going to be looking at here. This is interesting. Pet supplies. Amazon hopped off the listing, and now it's kind of selling consistently at 30 bucks. It says no buy box, but it looks like basically new FBA sellers basically at $30. Max cost of 15, only 15 ounces. Let's take a look at this one. Good mindset to have. SB Fuller Flips. Seller philosophy of this type of products they have in their store says a lot. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's going to be, you're going to see storefronts that have a lot of Nike products too, that they were selling Lulu bags and they were selling Stanley cups. And at one point they were great. But if that's all they have, maybe their knowledge of sourcing isn't as good as it could be, because they're finding products that were easy to flip. It's the products like, these that are harder to find that give this storefront some credibility, hopefully help you find some better products to get in front of. So again, this one is Amazon's been off it since March, so we have almost 2 months of them being off it. Have they been off it in the past? No. So maybe they just kind of discontinue the product, or they're just out of stock for a while. This is one product like this, right? I'd maybe do a test buy if it's profitable enough. Pretty consistently sitting at like 28.50. So we're going to actually try to look for this. Comes in like this container, 15 ounce, sells a really good amount of times per month. And I don't think there are a ton of sellers. Yeah, not a ton of sellers. So we could probably sell this at $29.99 because that's the lowest price right now, which is cool. And if this is a good product here, again, it's a variation listing, but the 1 pack versus a 6 ounce with 4 packs. And this is total wellness. This might be healthy joints. So this might be the only variation of this. So hopefully we can find this, and this might be a good lead to end on. Already seeing $14.99 as long as it's a 15 ounce. AKC shop, haven't heard of that place, but again, you find some different storefronts here, and always double check the storefront, make sure that it's legitimate. We can do that with Trustpilot. Maybe they even have a Trustpilot ticker on the bottom or something, but we can always look up stuff later. But basically $14.99, that's right around where we want to be here. $14.99. And my calculation, by the way, is I have a prep center fee in here. I don't cover or I don't account for sales tax because my prep center is in a sales tax free state. So SB4 flips, let's see, no buy box. Does no buy box worry you for purchase quantity? Not really too much. It's really what the data tells me. So the sales rank, you can see the sales rank was, a lot lower when Amazon was on it, probably because they were just selling at a really good price. What this tells you is that people are still willing to buy this quite often. To maintain a 5,000 rank, right? It basically still maintains just below a 5,000 rank for a whole month and a half after Amazon's off of it. So it still has to be able to maintain that 5,000 rank. It has to sell a good amount of times per month. So with that in mind, these people have to be getting sales up at these prices. The only thing with no buy box, you basically, the lowest price gets the sale the most of the time, because when people are on this kind of listing, right, they want to buy this product. There's no add to cart button, but if you click see all buying options, it's always the low, it's normally they have it sorted by price low to high. So usually that first one there, unless it's like a horrible review count, they're just going to be like $29.99. I can get it on, this one's a little bit slower. All these are pretty slow. Maybe they'd go all the way. Someone's got it listed at $14.99, but the delivery times are weird. Oh, $30 delivery. Never mind. None of these are quick delivery. So they're probably just going to pick the fastest delivery and then the most reasonable price. So they would add that to the cart. So basically, if you have a good delivery time, FBA, which is going to still be prime shipping, and you're listed at the lowest price, you're going to get the sale more than most times. There's only a couple sellers on the listing here. So even when there's like 1 to no sellers in the listing, this thing still only got to a 7,500 rank. So that just shows that this has a good amount of, opportunity for sales. So if we look at the data tab, the offer tab under data, we can see just who is selling this. It doesn't really matter who's selling it, right? Unless, FBA, FBM, that's what we care about. But how many have they sold? And we can always include historical offers because some of that sold out of their stock. They aren't going to show up in the current active sellers. But what I look for is that are people selling a good amount, and then are there multiple people selling a good amount? Because we can, and are they FBA as well? That's also important. But one seller selling 400. If this was 405, and one guy got all the sales, one storefront, not super ideal. We can see that it is spaced out between other sellers, which is nice to see. That see other storefronts, this person sold 47, 25, 23, 12, 11, 10, 10, 10. So the fact that storefronts are still able to, other storefronts other than the main one are still getting a good amount of sales tells me that, maybe I could sell 23 of these. Maybe I could sell 50 of these in the last 30 days. Stock counts aren't super high, which means people it's having a hard time keeping in stock, or just keep it doesn't have that data. They're not always going to have that data. But again, if we get this for $14.99, it's a 30% ROI, $450. Again, the pretty consistent at that 29.99. That's the lowest price currently. So if you listed at that price and the sellers don't shoot way up on this, and then people get greedy and lower their price a bunch, this could be a pretty profitable lead. Again, something like this, I wouldn't go super deep on just because Amazon has been on the listing fairly recently. And if they were just to randomly come on it, it doesn't look like they want to get off, very easily. So if you're stuck with a bunch of stock, 50 or 75 in stock, you're going to have a hard time selling out, and you're probably going to have to sell it not profitably. You can see some FBA sellers in the past, 14.99. Now it's 28.29. So again, if we get it from this site, 14.99, what we can do here is basically go to Trustpilot. And we're going to look at AK. What was the brand? It was AKC. So AKC, hopefully that pulls up. AKC Pet Insurance. I think it was akc.org. 2.5 star review. Yeah, see, this is what we don't want to see. We see a couple 3 stars, a bunch of 1 stars, no 5-star reviews. So not a bunch. There's only 5 reviews total, but if none of them are good, that's not amazing. So just want to read through some of these reviews, see did they not ship the product? Did they have a horrible customer service team? For website, all software requires constant monitoring, does not monitor their site. So you see stuff like that. You know, stuck in the past, not helpful. So basically their site is not super user friendly. You know, if you see a store like that, like I like to at least see a decent amount of reviews and at least a 3-star. And hopefully a lot of the reviews that were ones, I like to look at the 1 stars on even the higher rated ones in Trustpilot, because are the 1 stars complaining that they got the wrong product? Are they complaining the product never shipped? If that's the case, still it might be a little sketchy, but hopefully you got a bunch of 5 stars that are saying, great company, customer service was great, or they did ship the wrong product, but I talked to their team and they sent the new one right away and it arrived really quickly. Like those are the kinds of reviews you want to see on a site that you don't really know super well. So, and again, some of these lower level sites, you're going to see those cheaper prices. And if it's not legitimate, you don't want to get burned by buying 10 of these and spending $150. And then all of a sudden they don't ship the product out, or they ship the wrong product, whatever it is. But this is the match and this is a good price. So, if you're willing to take the risk on, that website, $14.99, again, make 30%, $450. I think that's a pretty good place to end the stream here. Kind of found some profitable product here. I guess we can look at the variations and see, our variation here is still in 41% of the time. So that's still going to get a good amount of sales per month. So, yeah, thanks for everybody who watched alongside the stream today. It was a lot of fun doing some sourcing for you guys. Good banter in the comment section here, but stay tuned. I'll be trying to do these lives every Wednesday, kind of around the same time. It's kind of a good time for my schedule, so hopefully you guys tune in. Ask me any questions that you have. Otherwise, stay tuned for some more YouTube videos and other content on my Instagram. But I will see you guys later. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it.